So today we're going to be taking a look at how to choose a high yield savings account. And we're going to be talking about some of the things we want to be looking out for. So we're going to go onto a desktop and we're going to kind of go onto these different websites to show you kind of where to look for some of these important features and benefits that you would get for choosing this high yield savings account. Now, as we go through this, make sure you stick around. At the end, I will actually show you some recommendations, or you could go ahead and just check out the link in the show notes down below that will jump you to a page that will have a list of some of the top ones that we recommend. But in case you don't want to use any of those, let's kind of at least show you what to look for. Now, obviously, when it comes to high yield savings, that means we want to look for APYs. Now, this is essentially how much you're going to be getting paid out for the money that's sitting in the account. Now, there's a big caveat that you want to pay attention to when it comes to this APY, because sometimes there might be a tiered system, which means you don't get that top number that you see first and foremost. Now, with this company here on Discover, you actually get the full 3.5 APY. But as an example, with Barclays right over here, you would only get the 4.10, which is a higher APY, if you have the higher amount, which right over here is $250,000. Pretty high number to hit, although keeping in mind that even if you have less than 10,000, you're still getting a 3.9%. So funny enough, higher than Discover, but still nonetheless a little deceiving when you see that high APY, but maybe not able to get right to it. Now, the next thing you want to be looking for when it comes to a high yield savings account is making sure it is FDIC insured. This is going to help you protect your money. Most of the time, this is going to be about $250,000 protection. Some companies actually have it where you get multiple different types of buildups to actually get to over $1 million+ in protection. So make sure that it is available there. Some of these high yield savings companies might actually be where they're offering you the actual high APY, but they're not themselves a bank. So they're like a fintech company. So just look out for those. Usually it'll be right up here on their website, letting you know they are FDIC insured. Now, I also want to show you just on another website here with like CIT Bank, you could see here at the very top, it is also FDIC. So this is what you want to be looking for when it comes to, I'm covering it up with the marker here, but this is what you want to be looking for right up here at the top or somewhere along the page. It usually will be pretty much front and center. Now, the next thing we want to look for in a high yield savings account is going to be the fees for running this account. Now, the companies that I recommend in the show notes down below and talk about often have no monthly service fees. So you're going to see something like this on their websites. It's going to be no monthly fees for having nothing in the bank account, for getting out your statements, for just letting money sit in this account. There are no fees whatsoever. A lot of these will also allow you to just have the savings without needing a checking account, which is a really nice thing. Let's go back to the Discover section over here, and you're going to see no monthly balance required. And this one actually even has no minimum opening account, which is really great. So you can just open it today and then start transferring money over on a regular basis. This also has, again, the no monthly fees. So these are going to be typically the things you're going to see on these websites for the companies that we personally recommend, but things that you should be looking out for when it comes to picking a high yield savings. So sticking to this as well too, not only are there fees sometimes for companies having you open your account or having a minimum deposit, but it's really that no monthly balance requirement. That's going to be this thing right over here. It is really important. We want to make sure that in case you need to use your money as an emergency and pull all of it out, that having $0 in that account isn't going to charge you anything. And that is really important when it comes to picking a high yield savings. Now, another thing you might want to be looking for with a high yield savings is the excess withdrawals. You could see here, you won't be paying any fees for excess withdrawals. I keep covering up all my words here. Not every company is going to have this directly on their website or at least on the front page, but you can go and search for it just to see, hey, how many times can I withdraw from this account? Sometimes the limit is going to be 10. Sometimes it might be a little higher or lower, just depending on the company. This usually won't be the biggest factor for you, but just something to kind of keep in mind in this process. Now, when it comes to having a high yield savings, a lot of people like to have this as a separate account away from their day-to-day spending. So that way they can have it for emergency funds, vacations, anything else that they need. And it's a little bit out of sight, out of mind, or maybe your regular bank doesn't offer a high yield savings. So one of the important factors here is the transfer time between your bank accounts. And if the banks happen to have a Zelle feature like this one does with CIT Bank, this is going to help you move your money much, much faster. Now, typically Zelle still has some limitations. Sometimes it will require you to have a checking account with that bank, but companies like CIT Bank will offer you the checking account for free with your savings account, which is really nice. So that way you can still have the Zelle feature while not really needing to pay anything extra for that checking account. Now, keep in mind that most banks will still offer you the free transfer from external accounts, usually anywhere from 1 to 3 business days. So you'll still have access to your money in the long form of transferring. But again, if they have Zelle, it'll just make that process a little faster when you might need a little bit of money in a short period of time. Now, another thing that we want to talk about as well is not only the higher APY sometimes that you can get for a temporary amount, like this company here with SoFi, you can get up to 4.5%. That is a temporary extra amount on your APY, which is still a great thing to have. And then sometimes they do have some nice sign-up bonuses that you could see over here to the right. This one has up to $300. Now, keeping in mind that a lot of the new bank bonuses these days will require you to have a direct deposit into that account. But here's the great thing is if you are able to split your direct deposits, maybe having a certain amount going into your high yield savings and the rest going into your regular checking, and you can do that, that will actually help you out even more to keep your money being saved, as well as getting any kind of sign up bonus that they have. Now, speaking of any sign up bonuses that might be going on with any of the companies that we recommend, that link in the show notes down below, when you click on any of those links, will take you to the landing page to show you any sign up bonuses that they might have going on, which I definitely recommend taking advantage of if you not only can have a new high yield savings to earn money on your money, but also being able to earn some nice bonuses using our links. Now, those links do help support us out so we can make more free content just like this for you. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you stuck around, we are going to show you some of the high yield savings accounts that you can start opening up today so you can start earning some more money on your money. So what we're going to do is post that video right over here on screen so you can check that out and keep on learning.